Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at every single gear in the game right now and the best 5 brawlers for that particular gear, just so you guys know who to prioritize your coins on. Of course, everyone hasn't got unlimited coins. It is a pretty scarce resource at the moment. So just before we get into the video, make sure you subscribe if you're not already. Getting close to 200k subscribers, and as said, if I reach this by around April time, I'll be doing a cosplay, so just a little bit of fun there. Anyways, let's jump into the list then. So the first gear we're going to be taking a look at is the speed gear, one of the best gears in the game. Even though we got nerfed pretty recently to only 15% speed, it's still super vital, especially on those bushy maps. But these are 5 brawlers in particular that are going to thrive with this gear. So the first one, I think, absolutely out of every single brawler in the game, you definitely need a speed gear with, it is Rosa. So Rosa, the reason why is because you're not going to play Rosa on a wide open map, right? You're going to play her on bushy maps, and also you literally have a gadget which complements the speed gear, and just Rosa with any type of speed is just unstoppable. So you definitely need it on Rosa. Another brawler is Sandy. Of course, Sandy can be pretty sneaky in the grass, and just being able to peek shot a lot with Sandy's limited range, again, you need that extra speed. The same goes with Nita, because you have very limited range with Nita. You need to try and close the gap to the opponents, especially on grassy maps, so you need that speed gear definitely with Nita. And then a couple more as well, we have Ash and Jackie. So Ash, with the rage built into his normal attack and his mechanics, add the speed gear on top of that, you'll just be flying around the map. So I absolutely love the speed gear on Ash. And the same goes with Jackie. You've got pneumatic booster gadget, you've got the hypercharger, gives you a speed boost, and you've got the speed gear. It's just ultimate speed for Jackie. So the next gear we're going to be taking a look at, it is the health gear, and the best brawlers for the health gear, starting off with El Primo. So I think El Primo is my favorite one out of every single one. Of course, he's a tank, you're going to get a lot of value out of the health gear with him, but the main reason why I love it on El Primo, because he has very limited range. It's really hard to get his super right now in this current meta, so the health gear really helps him against those tough matchups, because you can automatically charge your super faster. You know, if you run into your opponents, you get really weak, get that health gear up again, run in, you're going to get that automatic supercharge from the damage you take. I absolutely love that interaction. Same goes with brawler like Brawl, for example. I like to use the health gear for that reason. And also, of course, the 2 highest HP brawlers in the game, Hank and Frank. The reason why I love it on Hank so much, of course, he's a big beefy brawler, right? We love our guy Hank, but not only that, he really struggles just to heal up. Of course, after removing the mechanic where he could heal whilst charging his attack, he just never heals up anymore. So if you get the chance to with the health gear, you can get back up pretty quickly, so you can start charging that bubble back up. And the same goes to Frank, of course, being the highest HP brawler, you need the health gear on him. So now we're going to be jumping into the damage gear, and pretty much on every single brawler the damage gear is going to be really strong, but there's a few in particular which I use the damage gear on every single time over all the other gears. So the first one is going to be with Colt. Of course, Colt has one of the best DPSs in the game. He's able just to melt the safe on his own now, and if you combine this with the reload speed gear and also the damage gear, which I never switch off of. If you see my video yesterday, they're the only 2 gears I have for Colt. Of course, as well, the hypercharge, you're just dealing insane amounts of damage. Use Colt for pure DPS, right? So typically you want to use the damage gear on brawlers that already have high damage, just because it explodes their damage potential, or on low DPS brawlers. So high damage brawlers like Ems, B, Colt, I use them pretty much a lot, or I will use it for brawlers like Gus or Gray, who have a pretty slow reload speed, and they definitely need that extra bit of damage, or else they just get ran all over. So of course, as I said, damage gear is good on everyone. You're going to get a lot of utility out of tanks as well, because you're able to get within that threshold easier. But yeah, damage, you're safe to go with every single brawler. So next up, we're going to be taking a look at the vision gear, another really underrated gear which I use a lot, especially on bushy maps, even over the speed gear at the moment. I just think vision is so important. So the first one, of course, is going to be Gene. He literally is made for the vision gear. I don't think there will ever be a brawler in Brawl Stars history which will suit the vision gear more than Gene. Of course, literally his attack spreads out. You're able to scout bushes so easily and keep on top of them and keep chipping them down. Next up is going to be Otis. So might be surprising to a few people, but I think Otis especially, there's a couple of maps, for example, Last Stop, where Otis will just run all over the brawler on the lane with the vision gear. It's just impossible to push him. Another few brawlers as well, Rico. I love the vision gear on Rico. Of course, being a Rico main, I just love it, especially on a map like Harder on mine. I could just keep on top of the opponents so easily. A few other brawlers as well, Lola. I love the vision gear on Lola. Again, on maps like Last Stop, it's just so easy to push the opponents back. And Pam as well. Pam, of course, well, Pam and Pearl both having the same kind of attack. it's just easy to scout bushes and keep on top of the opponent. So next up we have the shield gear. So this one is self-explanatory. The lower the HP the brawler is, then the more likely you need to equip the shield gear onto them. So typically, you know, the lowest HP brawler in the game, Tick, shield gear is probably the best gear for him. Other low HP brawlers like Spike, Piper, Nanny, Byron, other brawlers like that, of course the shield gear is going to be even more essential for them. And of course the rule of thumb is if you typically play in a game mode which is all about survivability, so I'm talking the likes of Showdown, I'm talking Knockout, Bounty, Wipeout, the shield gear is pretty much essential because again you're able to tank an extra shot, and also if you're facing off against big heavy hitters like Piper and Nanny, sometimes if you're a squishy brawler, that shield gear can make you survive one extra ammo, so it is very vital. Also there's a few more applications as well, but like sort of Meg, you definitely need the shield gear with because it actually gives you a double shield gear, so not only in the mech but also when she falls out of the mech you can get the shield gear in that form as well. Also the rule of thumb is most of the time I use a shield gear on assassins, so Buzz, Fang, Mortis, just giving out a little bit of extra HP enables you to get closer to the opponents, so shield gear has a lot of use in this meta. So next up we have the brand new gear in Brawl Stars. It is the extra Gadget Charge gear. So there's a few brawlers in particular where I have to use this gear every single time. So the first one is going to be Gray. Of course, Walking Cane being one of the best gadgets in the game, it's just a common theme. If you know that gadget is good, then of course this gear is going to be good. Having 4 hooks is basically 4 mini gene pools, and you can change the game so well with this gadget. Next up is going to be Maisie. So Maisie, of course, having 4 chances to get a gadget and super combination off is just insane. And of course you're just going to get so many team wipes with this combination, and of course once you run out of the gadgets with Maisie, kind of a sitting duck, so having that extra gadget makes you able to be even more of a threat. Next up, Charlie. Of course, Spider's just been a really annoying gadget. You can say the same with Tara as well. You can just spam out so many pets and just it enables you to get so much lane pressure for sure. Next up is Pam. So another surprising one maybe, but I love the extra Gadget Charge gear on Pam because Scrap Sucker, if you get a good Scrap Sucker off, you're able to get a free kill pretty much every single time. So having 4 chances to do that just makes you an even bigger threat. And then next to, so Edgar probably is the best one for this gear just because the Let's Fly gadget automatically charges his hyper charge, so getting 4 gadgets means you're able to cycle 1, 2, maybe even 3 hyper charges in a game literally because of his Gadget Charge gear. And the last one being Carl, but Carl really isn't meta right now, so I won't really worry about that. So next up we have the reload gear, and pretty much I use this gear on every single brawler. I would say on all 6 brawlers that you can get it on, just buy it. You're able to get value out of no matter the situation, no matter the map, no matter the mode. Given that extra bit of reload speed is really going to help out. And people say it's not really worthwhile on the slower reload brawlers. I still think it is because again you're just able to spam out shots even more. So for example like Colt, I think if you put the reload gear onto Colt, it takes like 1.2 seconds to reload, which is just absolutely insane. You're just gonna be able to light up your lane like crazy. Same goes with Rico as well. He has a quick enough reload speed anyway, so I won't really say it's vital, but at the same time you can just keep spamming out shots. You won't ever have to like sit back and reload. You'll just constantly keep up the lane pressure. That's why I love this gear so much. In particular, there's a couple of brawlers that you definitely do need it with. Brock, of course, him having a slow reload speed, you're able just to put out shots a lot easier with Brock, and Lola as well, just because you know you use Lola for pure damage, right? So being able to spray out shots as much as possible, it's the reason why you use Lola, especially on highs. So reload gear is really going to help out, but you can pretty much easily use it on Bo as well and Eve. I literally never switch off this gear on all of those brawlers. So next up we have the Supercharge gear, and to be honest this gear is pretty much fallen off. A lot of changes to some brawlers, and you don't really need the Supercharge gear on any brawler except for Sprout, I think. So Sprout typically takes 5 shots to get his super, but with this gear it takes 4 shots, and that is essential because you're able to spam out supers so much more frequently. Same goes with like Nanny. There was a bug a couple of months ago where this Supercharge gear didn't work, but it works again. But I wouldn't really say it's essential for Nanny. You know, more typically probably like damage and shield or the extra gadget gear on Nanny, but you know sometimes I will use it if I just want to be annoying and cycle his peeps, especially if there's low HP brawlers on the map, because typically you don't really get too many kills with Nanny's super. And then the last one for me is El Primo. So Again, typically I like to use other gears with El Primo, but at the same time, this actually really helps him cycle his super, because of course, the super is the best thing about El Primo, but I'll say this is one of the weakest gears in the game. It doesn't really make too much of an impact. And lastly, we have the Mythic gears for a couple of our brawlers. So for me, there's a few in particular that you just absolutely have to buy. The first one being Jeans, of course, that extended pull range is just vital for Gene. I'll never switch off this Mythic gear. Same goes for Spike as well. Even though it got a 20% nerf to the amount of slow it does within the super, it's just still insane. You can just trap people in that super and cycle it even more. And then there's a couple that I've started to use a lot more. You know, Pam just does insane healing. I never switch away from this gear as well, because especially if against a low DPS brawler, there's just no stopping that Pam healing. Leon recently got a buff to the Mythic gear, didn't actually make too much of an impact. And then the Hyper Charge came out, and I think this Mythic gear is really, really strong. And then of course Tick's Mythic gear has always been pretty strong. Again, I think the only two unuseful ones are Sandy's and Mortis's Mythic gear. Pretty much every other Mythic gear I'd recommend buying and using pretty much all of the time. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Let me know whether I missed out on any key essential brawlers for certain gears. I feel like I pretty much hit the nail on the head here, but of course I will probably miss a few. So that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.